Hi, I'm Hannah. Thanks for watching. I was wondering if I had ruined a month's worth of knitting. I'm not going ambitious this year. I'm going attainable. I will finish this sweater this year. Today I have my 2025 knitting intention, and then I'll also share specific 9 projects that I'm planning to make. The Make 9, I don't know why it's Make 9, because it's a square? I'm not sure, but I have a Make 9. And I'm gonna share that with you. So let's get started. I'm not really making goals this year. There's a lot of reasons. The number one reason is having a baby, I guess, but the other reasons are life just feels very uncertain. And if I were to make goals, I think I might be setting myself up for not meeting them. So I'm going with intentions this year instead of goals. How I want to go about my making practices. The first intention that I have for 2025 is to use the yarn I already have. And I have 2 things that I want to do with that. The first is the Make 9, which I planned with yarn I already have. And the second thing is to make a scrappy blanket with yarn in my yarn pantry. I don't know about you, but when I go to look at my yarn, I look at it and I think, oh my goodness, there's so much yarn in here. I have so much yarn. But then when I go to make a project, I don't have any project quantities really left. I have a lot of 40-gram balls from projects, like from sweaters or whatever, or from socks I have a little bit left, that kind of thing. And I have a lot of that because I don't get rid of any of my yarn, and so I've just kept all the odds and ends forever. I also have some like odd balls of yarn from a project where I had a whole one left, but I want to use it eventually, but I just don't know what to do with it. So one of my ways that I want to use my yarn this year, take all of my project quantities, actually make the projects I have planned for them. And the second part is making a scrappy blanket. This was inspired by Marlene of Marlene Knits. She has a scrappy blanket. I think she finished it or not, I'm not sure. But she's just knitting back and forth. That feels attainable and using like 10 grams of each DK weight yarn. So I will probably do fingering weight held double and DK weight yarn to make like a few different rows, and then I'll keep going. I was thinking some sort of, the scrappy blankets are in, like Stella quilt, those kinds of things, but I think the color management would be too much for me right now, making all those decisions, trying to plan ahead. Instead, I just want to be able to pick a color, knit a few rows, put it back, and say, oh, what a nice blanket. It's scrappy. It's supposed to be a little mixed matched and whatnot. Eunice from Therapy by Craft also has beautiful blankets that she has made. I'm again just planning to do straight across a garter blanket. I have knit, actually I think it's in the frame, a blanket before. I have my Purl Soho Prism blanket. I love it. But this one I want to be just not color planned. I picked out the colors for that. This I think I'm just gonna use whatever I like when the inspiration hits. Hopefully it looks okay. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see if I go back on that and end up changing my mind on the color management, but I think I just want it to be super attainable, knit, 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 love it. Another intention that I have for 2025 is to take care of my knits, garments, sweaters, my husband's knits, my kiddos' knits, all of that. Take care of them so that they last. My plan for 2025 to get through them is to wash all of them. I'd like to check them all for damage, whether that's moth or snag or tear, that kind of thing. I also want to block them, depil them, fold them, put them away nicely. I actually have done quite a few sweaters. I tried to record this last week as well, but we had a family emergency, and so I've just been my headspace has just not been there for recording or editing a video. I decided to just try again. Here we are. We'll see if it's okay. But since I recorded that video, it inspired me to get started on washing and taking care of my knits. So I've actually washed quite a few of them. I've been washing 2 or 3 at a time in my Strucket, my strainer bucket. I'll put a picture up if you haven't seen me talk about this before. Putting a few in there with a color catcher in the Strucket, and then soaking them for a long time, putting them in my washer to spin dry them, which sounds really scary, and it was really scary, but I just did spin only. I don't have a central agitator, and so it has been life-changing. They dry so fast. It takes like a day. I was wondering if I had ruined a month's worth of knitting. but nothing has been ruined. Everything's turned out fine. I've taken them out, set them out, let them dry. I've gotten through maybe half of my sweaters already in terms of washing, letting them reblock and dry, depilling them, checking them for damage. None of them have had any moth damage. I had one that has a little snag on the bind off. I don't know if where I like sewed in the end or something and then I cut the yarn. I don't know if I cut it too short. Anyway, it's coming undone a little bit on the bind off, so I need to fix the bind off. There's another one that doesn't have the ends woven in that I knit like 2 years ago, so I need to do that. There's a few things, but the majority of them, I'm just like, this is wonderful, wash, put them away. My sweaters don't actually get that much wear. Like I'll wear this for a day and then maybe I'll wear it again in a week or two, but it's just not that cold here. And I also don't go that many places where I dress super nicely because kid life, baby life. I'm mostly going to the playground or preschool drop off. And while it is nice to get dressed, I also don't want to like get stuff on them all the time. So I haven't washed them a ton, I'll be honest. Some of them have not been washed since I made them like a year ago. So it's really nice to just know they're all gonna be washed in 2025 and next year I'll hopefully do it again. But I just want to take the time to take care of them because I did put a lot of time into knitting them, and often in the fiber world, there can be a side, especially on social media, of saying like, oh, ooh, I just finished this one and now there's a new one that came out. I need to make this one, I need to make that one. And I want to slow down this year and be intentional about taking care of the ones that I've made and that I love. And this goes along with really frogging the ones that I don't love, which is painful, but ultimately it is good because I want to reuse the yarn. And if I am wanting this to be something I do for a long time, then there's no need for me to make like 20 sweaters every year. I just don't need to. So taking some of my knitting time and using it towards mending or cleaning or whatever, making these really work for me, putting elastics and neckbands, I really want to do that this year and slow down and take the time for that. So here's where I get a little bit into goals from my Make 9. I had my 2 intentions of using the yarn I already have and taking care of the knitwear I've already made. The third thing is my Make 9. I have it pulled up on Ravelry, all the patterns and stuff, so I can tell you a little bit about them. Most of these are popular patterns. I'm sure you've heard about them before, but I'm gonna share the yarn that I'm planning to use for my yarn pantry and a little bit about the pattern as well. If you've made one, please let me know because I would love to hear that. So 2 of the patterns on here I've made before and 7 are new to me. This is my plan for the year and I don't really want to add a ton of new things in. As patterns come out, I tend to find that those are my less enjoyed patterns. If I sign up for a test knit or I say, oh, that came out, I have to make it now. I find the ones that I think about for a long time and really wonder, will this be a good fit for my wardrobe? Those are often the ones I wear more often. And sometimes there's a surprise, like this one was a test knit and I love it and I wear it all the time. But usually it's the ones I spend a long time thinking about before I make them. So now I will get started. The first one is a remake. The first one that I want to make in 2025 is another Vertices Unite. This is my Vertices Unite. I knit this last year around this time and I love it. I get so much wear out of it. The colors were so hard to choose, but I'm so happy with them. I wear one of these colors every day: pink, white, green, this color, whatever this color is, navy. I don't wear a lot of navy, but it goes. So I'm really happy with it. I love just throwing it on, wrapping it around. It's warm. This is the smallest one. So I want to make one kind of exactly like this, but I'm planning to use a combination of browns that I have in my yarn pantry, and I will share those with you now. I think this will be a good use for a little bit of these one-off skeins that I have. This is a Sewrella, the color is Teak, and this is an Explorer Knits and Fibers Acorn stash. These are both sent to me from a super generous winter wish where someone said, hey, I have a bunch of yarn, I'm gonna send it out, and you say what you are into, and if they have something like that, they'll send it to you. So I've gotten both of these like 2 years and then 1 year ago. And I also have this from a sweater I'm working on, and Kelborn Woolen's Camper. This is some Knitting for Olive from my other Vertices Unite. So I think this might be enough colors. Wow, now I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, should I make the big one? Has anyone made the large Vertices Unite? My brother-in-law is working on one, but he's been working on it for like a year. Caleb, I know you're probably watching. It has nothing to do with his knitting speed. I think it's just like life, there's a lot. But I don't know, now I'm wondering if maybe I should. If you've made the big one, please let me know if you like it better than the small one. I love my small one, but a big one I probably have enough yarn for. Anyway, whatever I don't use, I'll put into my blanket and I'll use the yarn because this yarn has been sitting and it's lovely, and I think this would be really nice in a sort of shawl scarf. Okay, next on my Make 9, my second pattern is a Birch Pullover. This is by Andrea Mowry. It's fingering weight yarn, uses US 2 needles, and it's fisherman's rib. So this is gonna be quite a sweater. This might take me all of 2025 to make. But she built it as a squishy, ultimate squishy wardrobe staple. And I think that is probably going to be true. This is Jill Draper Make Stuff, and the colorway is Smokebush. This is from Oak City Fibers, a local yarn shop in my area. And I got it for Christmas, I think. Yes, Christmas. I got it for Christmas. And I want to make the Birch Pullover with it. I think it'll be so comfy and warm. And this yarn is so soft. It's 100% lamb's wool, made with love, from sheep to skein in the US. Very cool, but it's light fingering, and so I think it'll be a little airier than if I was using regular fingering. We'll see how it goes. Like I said, I think it might take me the whole year to make. That's okay. That's okay. I want to make patterns that I want to make, and if they take a long time, then they'll just take a long time. Next, I have one I don't think I've talked about on here before. I am doing a test knit for, like I said, I wasn't going to sign up for test knits. Here I am signing up for test knits. But this, I think, is going to be really good. This is yarn from my yarn pantry. I am using my Isager Eco Soft. Maybe I have talked about this. It's sounding familiar. Anyway, I am making the side bow slipover by Sarah from Noelle Knits, and this is the back panel. So I've already started it. Maybe that's a good sign. I have a nice start on it. It's a slipover, and it has these cute little ties that you make bows out of, so side bow slipover. And yes, it's coming out in March, I believe. I think it's going to be a wonderful wear for dresses. Honestly, I feel like I could even wear this with a t-shirt, like a white t-shirt underneath, kind of what I have on now, and jeans, or yeah, a dress. I think it will be a really nice wardrobe staple. I'll share more about it in a project updates video, but it's in testing right now. I'm using US 7 needles. This is technically worsted weight yarn, so it's knitting up pretty quickly in a good way. It's not super fast, not super slow. I'm really liking it. I'll put a picture from the designer up since you can't really tell from my progress, and it's not really on Ravelry yet. So this is my fourth project. The next one I want to make this year is the Olga Jacket. Now I haven't knit a petite knit pattern in a very long time, but I love this one. This came out maybe in the fall, and I've seen a lot of the pullover, a lot of the cardigan. I want to go cardigan. And this is the yarn I want to use. Having some trouble focusing, but this is the yarn I want to use. This is Semilla Melange by BC Yarn, and it's 100% wool. It's DK weight, so yes, I think it would be cute. I love the purple. I think it's a fun pop. The Olga Jacket is DK weight, US 6. I feel like that's my favorite thing to knit. The US 6 needles is the perfect combination of, it's not gonna take me forever, but it's also not super bulky. DK weight yarn, I think that's a sweet spot, and I really like it. Next up is another petite knit pattern. I want to make the Esther Jacket, and this is the yarn I'm planning to use. This is Purl Soho Good Wool Heirloom White. It's a little different between these two, but I'm hoping since I'm gonna hold it together, it will be totally fine. We'll see. This was in a sweater that I frogged in the fall. I knit this maybe 4 years ago, and it just doesn't fit me anymore. Life, body, all those things change, and it doesn't fit. So I frogged it, and I was kind of sad, so I want to make something this year that I really, really love. It was a cardigan beforehand, a brioche cardigan, and it just was too small, so I'm gonna go for another textured cardigan, Esther Jacket, also by Petite Knit, and it uses Aran weight yarn, so I'm gonna hold these together, and US 7 or 8 needles. I think I think it will be good. I like this sort of undyed to go well with dress or jeans. This color, obviously, I wear a ton of, so hopefully, my only concern is that I had to buy a new one because the yarn I frogged, it wasn't quite enough to make the sweater. So I had to buy a new one, and the color is just a tad bit different. I don't know. I need to swatch it and see what it'll be like. If not, I'm okay to buy more or to use it for something else, but I don't know. We'll see. Something fun I've been wanting to make for a long time is a hot water bottle cover, and I have this Drops Alpaca Boucle, and I'm planning to make the HOTTIE Sweater for your hot water bottle. So it's like a sweater for your hot water bottle, I guess that's the name. I don't really know. It uses boucle yarn. I'm gonna hold it together and make a hot water bottle cover. I really like the Maxine one from Laura Penrose, but again, Colorwork, color choices. I'm trying to make less choices this year. Just overall, but also in my knitting, because there's just a lot going on in life. And it would be nice to say, here are my 9 projects, I have them lined up, here's all the yarn for them, and I know exactly what I'm gonna make. That's kind of my goal for the Make 9, is to take the stress out of the decision making and say, I already have all my projects lined up. And half of them I've already started because I can't stop casting on. Anyway, this is going to be hot water bottle cover. I have done 6, I have 3 left, math. The next 2 are ones I've talked about before. This is my Tahka cardigan, and here I will put a picture up of the designer and then also my sister finished hers, so please tell her how good it looks on her. It's unblocked, but I really think she nailed it with this one, and I'm hoping mine is the same. This is where I'm at on mine. I still have quite a bit to knit. I'm only this much through the body, and then I need to do the sleeves as well, but it's knitting up super quickly. It's on US 10.5. I'm using really big yarn. It's Eco Plus Merino by Cascade Yarn. Next one I've already talked about as well, so I'm flying through these because you've likely seen them in a project update. But this is the Azor Sweater by Besh Knitwear. This is a fingering weight colorwork sweater, and I have knit it before. I made a blue and yellow one. I wore it all the time. I think it was my 2nd sweater that I'd ever made. It has a ton of mistakes, so I'm hoping to make one without mistakes. I also messed up the sizing of the last one, and so it is very oversized just because I didn't make the right size. I've made the right size this time, so we'll see how it compares in terms of fit, what I like better, but I am loving this. The colorwork part is done. I just have the body and the sleeves, and then I'll be able to wear it. I was really hoping to finish this in 2024, but I'm bringing it into 2025, but not 2026. I will finish this sweater this year. Things just keep coming up. In this Make 9, I'm not including my sample knits or my design knits. So I have a sample knit I'm working on currently. I'm not sharing that yet. And then I also have some designs in the works that I'll need to make samples for as well. So that's why I feel like my Make 9 needs to be attainable if I want to do it. I'm not going ambitious this year, I'm going attainable. The last one that I am planning to make this year is a stocking for myself. I have yarn to make my husband, my son, and our 2 kiddos stockings from the Doodle collection, and this is the yarn I have. I'm planning to get one more color, like another green. I think a dark green would be nice, and I'll have 4 colors for the motifs, and I'm starting with mine so that it is perhaps less stressful for me to wonder, will my son like this? I wanted to start with his so he could see it and be excited about it for Christmas, but I'm gonna start with mine in case I make any mistakes or it just doesn't turn out like I'm hoping. It's mine that I've messed up, not his. These are Semilla Melange again. I am excited about this project. I think the color work will be fun. I think it'll be just a nice creative outlet. It's also not a design that, you know, I need to make sure is perfect. I think these will just be a family heirloom kind of thing, but also not something high pressure, hopefully just fun. I definitely like to be more of a planner knitter. I think I might be more likely to finish my projects if I were to plan them out better. So hopefully I will get through quite a few of these this year. Thank you for watching. If you have any intentions that you would also like to share, please let me know. I hope you have a lovely weekend and happy knitting.